Hello and welcome to Live from the Compound. I'm here with my friends Leif Abraham and Jannick Molling. Boys, say hello.
What's up?
Hello,
right.
Josh. What's up?
You may recognize Leif and Jannick as the co-founders and co-CEOs of Public.com, friend of the show, fastest growing investment platform, combining markets, data, and community all in one place. We talk about Public and the Public app all the time. And the boys are here to talk about, I think, two of the most exciting innovations that have direct application to what you're doing right now with your trading. And I really wanted to just have you guys demo for the audience and show them what you built, why it's worthy of their attention, and how they're going to be using it in the future. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All
Let's do it.
All right.
Nice.
Really thrilled to have you guys. So first things first, I want to talk about the directed part of this, which is available right now. I know you were on Squawk today, got a chance to show some people on TV. What is this? Why is it so exciting?
Yeah, so what we announced today is sort of three things of our AI kind of efforts. One is research. We've been doing that actually for a couple of years, but we talked a little bit about that. The second launches today. It's called Generated Assets.
Generated assets.
Exactly. And it's a way to prompt your own index fund, essentially.
So speak to the brokerage platform and tell it what kind of index you want created.
Exactly. People have called it like a lovable for financial products and stuff like that. And that is how you can think about it. You enter a single prompt with your thesis, whatever it may be, and it actually gathers and evaluates all the stocks in the public markets and assembles a portfolio, an index that fits that particular vision.
So Michael and I have a guest on the show who's talking about, just like as an example, one of the top performing sectors this year is utilities.
Yep.
They're not all involved in the data center build out, but some of them are very involved. Mm-hmm. And we say something to the effect of, build us an index of utilities with the highest earnings growth rate expected for 2026 or something.
Exactly. Correct.
And then it'll build that. And then, I don't know, can we say like, all right, now equal weighted? Is that coming?
You can say equal weighted. You can say weighted based on the relevancy. So the AI, everything has a relevancy score. And then you can say weighted based on that, weighted based on market cap. You can weight it any way you want. And then you can hit the invest button. And it sits as a single asset next to your Apple position, next to your NVIDIA, next to your Bitcoin.
You could press a button and buy that index.
100%.
You could say, okay, I just brought this thing into the world, did not exist before. I didn't have to research 50 tickers, decide what to include, what to exclude.
Yep.
I didn't have to get out a calculator and figure out how much to weight each position.
No spreadsheets.
Okay.
Correct. You can do all that if you like, still. You can
still
edit it and, put more of your own flavor to it, but yes.
Okay. So you guys have just given me the ability to generate an asset.
Yes.
Correct.
In this case, it's an index fund.
Yes.
And then I could say $20,000 into my own index.
Exactly.
Correct.
100%.
That's sick.
So that was number two. The third thing we announced is what we call the Agentic Brokerage, which is basically agent mode for the public platform. So this is an agent that you can instruct to do anything on your behalf. One of the things that comes up all the time on Public is things like, I need a down payment for something by next month. I need 50 grand. I only want to sell things at long-term cap gains, trading close to all-time highs
or
with a PE ratio of X. Exactly.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so figure out that schedule of sales, figure out how to trim my portfolio across hundreds of positions. And then not only does it figure it out and suggest it can actually go and execute it as well.
Okay. So a lot of people in America are able to do that now because they call somebody.
Exactly.
So they call 1-800, whatever, the big brokerage is.
Yeah.
And they have to, they get verified by their voice, and then they get in and then they speak to a very nice customer service rep, and then they say what they want to do. And then that person will give them options. And it's not that you want to rush that process. It's okay if it takes 20 minutes, but in this particular way, people can kind of serve themselves.
But there's also an aspect of like, a lot of brokerages don't have that service layer that you're describing, right? Like you have customer service for like very simple things. I need the statement, I have some bug that I'm running into or whatever. But what we're describing here is in most cases really more something that like a proper wealth manager, financial advisor like really steps into. Yeah. And the reality is like there's still a lot of people who don't have access to that. There's a bunch of people that might not want to do that. They want to have their own, control. Yeah. Like and be more self-directed, but they still have those issues as well, right?
Yeah. And that's just one use case, by the way. Another thing that comes up often is like, hey, if the Fed cuts rates, trim 10% of my bank stocks, move it into high growth tech. Right. For example, or set up an automated cash sweep every time I have more than $5,000 in my Chase checking into the public bond account, which you know what it is.
Right.
It basically makes a corporate bonds that yields 6-7% ish. So there's just so many kind of different things that you could do that even in some cases, wealth managers will not necessarily always get into doing all that
the
work.
breakthrough here is that the agent is going to be able to not read your mind, but understand your intent, not just the instruction, and that you're not hunting through screens to find all these tabs to click. And like with traditional brokerage, even right now, the tech and the architecture is so old. Like just to instruct a traditional brokerage platform that you only want some of the securities to reinvest dividends and others not to. You have to go ticker by ticker, and you have to like hunt down the right page to do that on. And being able to just speak it into existence is a lot more powerful.
I'll give you another one. Vote yes to Elon's comp package.
Yeah,
how about that?
It's a big one.
Because we all kind of was going through all the work and trying to figure it out. And so
here's 600 pages of proxy material.
Exactly.
Or
just like a text message based prompt. What's funny, because you mentioned the phone, right? We do feel the move to agentic AI is almost like a user interface upgrade, right? So you actually went from the phone to web to mobile.
Yeah.
And now not back to the phone, but back to natural language.
Yeah.
Through agentic AI. So it feels a little full circle from that perspective as well.
And you're sparing the traditional brokerage situation where they don't have enough people to take the call.
Totally.
Especially when markets are moving and it's a high volume moment.
Oh, by the way, we get a lot of these at Public, right? And I'd love to help every single customer with these kinds of things. But the reality is it would take one customer service rep, maybe a whole day, to analyze 100 positions, figure out the schedule sales, if you need the money in 45 days and this, that, and the other.
Right.
And so now agents can do it, right? And so there is a little bit of a, call it the democratizing kind of factor, but it's really more about being able to give everyone on the platform like the kind of service that Leif said normally you'd expect for like a proper wealth manager or something like that.
Okay, I love it. You want to show me it?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay. So we're going to have the screen take over, and what are we doing first? Generated assets?
Well, so the agentic stuff, I can show what's at the show right now because we announced it today.
Okay.
But basically here you can see a bunch of some of the examples that people are putting in. There is a wait list here. And so this will roll out throughout Q1. So we won't demo this today.
If people go on public.com and log in, they can sign up for the wait list.
They can sign up for the wait list.
So that when Agentic Brokerage is ready, they can use it.
And we'll roll it out starting in January.
Okay, so am I like January 1 or what's my access level?
Probably January 2 or 3.
I have to get more assets on your platform.
I do.
On your platform.
That is the right answer.
That is the right answer, exactly. It depends how many you have, Josh. Come on, you know this. Now, the second thing is generated assets. And this is what rolled out kind of fully today. We actually, some of your listeners may know, we launched a preview model of this, I think back in May. But it was on generatedAssets.com, so you couldn't invest in it, but it was more to test out the modeling, the architecture, and figure out, could you actually build this in a way where it produces a meaningful result? Since then, thousands of these has been created. Obviously, we then rewrote all the tech from scratch into the V2.
So you watched users use this, saw what they were doing, and then
exactly. Saw all the prompts that they wanted.
Can I read some of these prompts?
Yeah, for sure. Go for it.
Okay, business models with low exposure to AI. Okay. The perfect risk off for this moment.
Yeah.
So they're killing the AI stocks yet again today as we're taping. The Dow's down 600.
Yep.
Healthcare stocks are up.
Yep.
So, okay. Companies with high R&D spending. That would be the opposite trade.
Yep.
Probably. Companies with Andreessen Horowitz invested in. Very interesting. So you can scrape their 13F filings. They have an RIA now. Okay.
Invest in GLP-1s is a popular one.
Self-driving automation, B2B companies with less than 10%. So a couple things. A lot of these, there's an ETF that does exist. So there's an index.
Some of them.
They're paying an index license. Some of them, sorry. But then you guys can take it a step further and have it be instantly customized to a second or a tertiary degree.
There's like 4 or 5 categories that we've seen based on the data, even going back from May. One is thematic, right? So invest in GLP-1 drugs. I don't know if there's a perfect ETF for like GLP-1 sort of drug, like all the Ozempic type stuff.
You would think there would be by now. There might not be enough stocks to fill that out.
No, or I don't know, but sometimes it's also like there's a question on selecting. Anyway, so thematic is one. Then there are things like fundamentals, right? When you look at things like companies.
We don't care about those. What else?
Okay, then let's call it metrics, and then it sounds super hot. Yeah. No, but even things like companies that have low average revenue per user, but a big user base, meaning companies that could grow revenue, therefore, without much marketing spend, for example. Right? Or companies that have aggressively reduced debt in the recent 12 months. Then you got qualitative. This is where it gets really interesting because these are not metrics based. These could be like CEOs that are relentless. You know, CEOs that like under promise and over deliver on earnings calls, or you know, whatever the case may be. Like you've seen some of these with like CEOs that work out.
How are you guys on the back end? What AI capabilities are necessary in order to find these things?
So the way it works is you have a master agent which is responsible for interpreting the intent. That master agent basically outsources the work to thousands of underlying agents that go and evaluates each and every stock based on the criteria that has been interpreted.
Ultimately, there's got to be, even though these are qualitative, there's got to be a mathematical rank in order to surface the results.
Yeah, and there's essentially just like sentiment analysis of because it also goes into what people have written in their opinions on the internet. And
so it'll read articles to help surface these candidates for the inclusion as well.
Exactly. So like if you basically be like, hey, I want to invest in in companies with really aggressive CEOs, right? That's a subjective thing. But this will be something that some people will have an opinion on that has been reported in the press and articles and maybe even analyst reports and so on. And that gets kind of pulled into this. And so once one is generated and you kind of click on them, you can see, and we'll see it in a second, you will see like the like reasoning behind of why the AI has picked these stocks. And some of these things can be, you know, a little bit subjective for sure.
What do you think people are going to do more of? Kind of factor, fundamental, screen?
Well, I was actually going to get to the fourth one. I think the one really interesting one, because you mentioned ETFs, is what I call sort of like a ETF remixing almost, right? Ooh. So basically being like, hey, give me not the S&P 500, give me the S&P 100, but take out companies in AI or take out companies that are exposed to tariffs or whatever the case may be. So basically starting from some subset that the system recognizes as a thing and then adding some editing layers on top of that.
Here's where it gets really interesting. We're in the day and age of the celebrity ETF. Like a lot of the more well-known managers have launched active ETFs or thematic ETFs. Mm-hmm. Like if I disagree with Cathie Wood on Tesla, can I have ARK minus Tesla? And can I trade on it instantly? Like this is where things could get, so you can remix your favorite investors.
Exactly.
Correct.
Okay. Very interesting. Are we going to get to the point where somebody like me, I don't know if this is good or bad for me, but somebody says, give me the last 30 stocks Josh Brown spoke positively about on CNBC. Like, is that a direction where this could go?
Yeah.
And what is my royalty? I can just picture it.
That depends on when you get the sticker on the laptop like we just talked about.
All right, wait. So, okay, so this is cool. So everybody watching this can be their own ETF creator.
Correct.
Now, it's not an ETF.
Yeah, it's technically an ETF.
It's the same thing if you're invested.
We aren't calling it an ETF for obvious reasons. It's not an exchange-traded fund.
But it's a custom index.
It's an index, exactly.
Yes. Custom indexing is one of the mega trends.
Correct. And obviously, like where we're going in the future, that's hence why it's also generated assets, is that options are going to be part of it, crypto is going to be part of it, bonds are going to be part of it. And so we can then kind of create a little bit more like structured products out of it in the future as well.
Okay. Can people eventually build tactical generated assets where they'll say something to the effect of, build me all size classes, large cap, 40%, mid cap, 30%, small cap, I'm not good at math, whatever the rest. And then based on trend, like I want to rebalance into one of them and rebalance out of the other, given, I don't know, last 5-day performance or something like, will people be able to effectively build not only their own generated index, but a trading methodology around it?
Yes, that's where basically the agent mode marries the generated asset kind of concept. That's when they come together.
Okay.
So you'd set up the assets, but then the agent, the agentic brokerage model, you're just prompted by like, hey, based on what you say, 5-day trading volume, add exposure, reduce exposure, move money around based on these conditions. And so, yes, that's where they sort of go together. And that definitely
Will you give users the ability to take something that they've built and share it with the community and allow others to follow them and invest in a generated asset?
Yeah. I mean, there's a share button coming next week.
Share button coming this week. I think it's been the number one requested feature today.
Okay, so if you have model makers on, what are you calling the people that generate assets? Generators?
You can call them that.
Yeah, let's
right
call
now
them
they're
that.
just public
Rachel,
customers.
what are we
Right?
thinking? All right, wait. So let's call them generators for the purpose of this conversation. If you have generators on platform that are consistent in what they build and are willing to have other people follow with no, obviously, like legal consequences, like you're not their financial advisor.
Yep.
You're just somebody that's like really good at spotting themes or opportunities, instantly creating something.
Yeah.
Can you build a fan base and have people invest in your next index?
I also think it's, I mean, look, we've been operating this platform for 6 or 7 years now. And as you know, we used to have this like social layer that was a bigger part of it. And a big part of that was like, what's your track record? And it's always like people can always finagle these kind of things to their sort of, but if you set up an index, if you set up an index and it's your index, like we're back testing it, we're running the forward-looking performance on it. And if you share it with the community, like you can't mess with that, right? Like that's just what the index is. You can rebalance it going forward.
Here's what you can do, and this is just Leif.
No
pun intended, Leif. What you can do is say, create me an index of the 20 companies with the least exposure to AI. Also create me an index with the companies top 20 most exposure to AI. And whichever one is a better month, that's the one you go out and market. Yep. And I'm not trying to give anybody ideas. I'm just telling you some things that I've seen.
You totally can.
All right. It's a really exciting thing. What are people using this so far? I know it's early. What are you seeing the most uptake with in terms of the generated assets and the custom indexes? What are people doing the most?
To your point, I think there's a lot of thematic stuff that you can't find perfect ETFs for, which people are interesting, like the GLP-1 thing just came up, for example. And then I think people like a lot this idea of more qualitative things increasingly. There was this one example that kind of went viral back like, I don't know, a year ago or something with like CEOs who work out or deadlift or something like that. Yeah. And somebody actually did the grunt work to like do all that.
And invented it.
Exactly. At that point, we had this like the first version of the model, like 70% built. And it was just like, okay, let's build this faster now. Because, you know, so you can see, I think, a lot on X, on Reddit, like you can see a lot of validation around the fact that people are thinking more actively. I think especially since rates came back and alpha is sort of back more than just pure beta. I think, and that's also why I think the timing of this product is kind of interesting.
I think it's something else. I agree with you that there's more interest in this kind of thing. But I think the origin of it stems more from the S&P 500 having become significantly less diversified and people starting to realize like 40% of this thing is 10 stocks.
Yep.
Maybe that's not the intent of investing in an index.
Yep.
So what else should I be doing? I think there's a dawning realization that we're in this age of concentration and people feel they already have enough exposure to Microsoft and Apple and NVIDIA and they want to do things differently. There was a guy in a prior generation, I'm going to say 15 years ago, named Hardeep, and he created a product called Motif. Has anybody told you guys about Motif?
We know Motif, yeah.
Okay. What do you remember about it?
I remember a website where there was a bunch of themes on it, and then something ended up happening with Goldman Sachs, and then I never saw it again.
Yeah, they sold half. Okay. So he sold half to Goldman and the other half to Schwab, and they both mothballed it.
Okay.
So,
interesting.
What are you guys doing? Because the idea, I'm not saying it's the same thing. I'm saying the idea has always been attractive to individual investors that like you don't have to go to Wharton to be your own portfolio manager. And when you spot an opportunity, you can create an investable product to benefit from it. You don't have to wait for somebody else to create it. That's always been a great idea. And that's always been something people have wanted. I think he wasn't in the same technology era that we're in now.
Totally.
So obviously we're not talking about agentic anything.
I was about to say, if you look at this technology, what powers the whole thing is our fractional trading engine. Right. Investing in a custom index with 200 companies isn't very fun. If you have to buy one full share in a company, then you also can't control your weightings, etc. And so really there's two layers of this. There's the AI layer and there's the sort of fractional trading system layer. And so we were the first in 19 to fractional real-time trading of stocks. We then done it with, obviously, as you know, corporate bonds and treasuries and things of that nature. And so I think the fact that I still think we're the only like born fractional kind of brokerage, at least of some scale.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes all the difference, right?
Because he was living in a world of 100-share round lots.
Yeah.
And that was the standard. And
And then you can market it. I mean, maybe there's a reason that Goldman bought it, right? You can only market that to effectively millionaires, right? And so I think it just the TAM is totally different.
Okay, no, around. I really love the idea, and customization is the wave. Just period. Like you look at any away from brokerage, away from finance, just every vertical, every provider understands this desire on the part of the end user to customize their experience no matter what it is.
Oh, totally.
So it was only a matter of time before somebody like you guys came along and
generational, I mean, I think a lot of people seek more control and more choice.
Yeah.
Especially, I think, after these last couple of years where people have just looked at beta and been like, okay, the S&P 500 gets so top heavy. And I don't know, I think there's just like a time, and I'm not saying ETFs are going away tomorrow, but I think that, you know, for the longest time, they were seen as like the holy grail of investing. And now I think there's a sentiment of like, maybe those could actually be better too.
Okay.
It's also just like this generation that we're kind of saying, like we're like digital natives, millennials, it's like our core user, right? Like average age is like 38. And they just grew up with more financial literacy around, like social media, niche communities. And so, you know, and so like they just a little bit more confident in their own ideas and abilities.
Yeah.
And that's where this like rise in the self-directed investors kind of come from.
Yeah. So that generation had the advantage of having online communities filled with people who were willing to share information in a way that they were willing to listen to it, whether it were a podcast or 100%. A YouTube video or a Twitter Spaces conversation.
Exactly.
And so as a result, there's a higher level of comfort with doing things like this than prior. Okay. I think it's really cool. Why don't you guys tell me, what else do we have to show? Do we have other screens?
Yeah, we can show. Let's try to show the generator.
Show me
we kind of got distracted here.
Let's do a prompt.
Just the home screen.
What was the other one? I said companies with lots of users but low RPU.
Now, what does this mean? These are companies that they could raise revenue per user. They already have the users.
Exactly. Yes. So they don't need to spend marketing.
Can I guess what's going to be here?
Go for it. Okay. Yes. Let's do it.
Okay. I'm going to say PayPal.
Okay.
Right? Barely make money per user.
Don't look at us for assurance.
I mean, we don't know.
This is on you now.
All right.
It's like a live demo. But we don't actually know what's going to show up here.
All right. I'm going to say PayPal, Schwab.
Schwab has pretty high revenue per user, though.
Oh, they do?
Sorry. I am interfering here. I shouldn't.
I know, but I was thinking they have like 100 million users. I don't know. All right. I don't know. Probably like some of the. Would restaurants qualify for this, or
I think almost like at least like a DoorDash. Probably.
Show me. This is fun. Let me see what we end up with.
Maybe like a Pinterest. All right. So now saying thinking, I'll help you create a portfolio. Here we go.
High user base, low average revenue per user.
Starbucks is in there, obviously.
And so what it essentially does right now is the first prompt has now evaluated the request.
Okay.
And now it's basically dispatched what we call evaluation agents, which is essentially like a mini version of itself, where each one is basically, researching a single stock based off the criteria.
Oh, look, it's starting to populate.
Exactly. And then
changing the order.
Exactly, because once you see the relevancy score fill on the right, the like green dots there, that means it has actually picked something, and then it's kind of still loading. So you see the loading bar. It's evaluating 150 stocks here based off the first kind of direction. And then we'll see how many it ends up with. It ends up with 25.
All right.
Okay, so I have 25 companies.
eBay, you got PayPal right.
High user, low. Are these ranked in any particular order?
Correct. They are ranked by weighting.
They have equally. It has equally weighted them. I see because we didn't specify to do anything differently.
Okay.
So it decided to equally weight.
All right. So the names for people that are squinting at it.
And so when you click one of them,
Zoom makes perfect sense. I probably would have guessed that.
Spotify, a lot of users.
Yeah, just like
Zillow.
Click on one and see what it says.
DoorDash.
So why is PayPal part of it? Then it says it has 100% relevancy score.
Let me say.
It has over 430 million active. Wow, that's a count.
All right.
It's average.
So that's my only good guess.
Yeah.
So its average revenue per user is relatively low, but $73 per year, based on $31.7 billion in revenues. So
it's doing that math. It's taking the revenue, dividing it across the publicly disclosed user base that the company says they have. And all right, so that's a cool idea. So now
it runs a full back test of the thing against the S&P 500.
Holy shit, look at this.
With returns and drawdowns.
Then we have created this like asset score on the right. And so the asset score, 1.1, pretty good. So out-competing the S&P 500, not just from the pure return on the chart which you're seeing. So that is like way better than the S&P. But the asset score also takes into account stability, like drawdowns and diversification. And so that's why, an asset score below 1 essentially is for us something that's like, hey, it might have outperformed the S&P, but you also took more risk because it has higher drawdowns, for example.
Right.
And so that's where the asset score comes in. So you're not just looking at a chart that goes up because you selected Bitcoin.
So we would call that like Sharpe ratio.
It's kind of like a Sharpe ratio, but a little bit more digestible. And so anything over 1 would be beating the Sharpe ratio of the S&P.
You know what's so cool about this? Let me talk to you guys seriously. We'll pretend the cameras are off. You have no idea the level of applicability there is for this, for like a hedge fund, a pod shop, just to like on the fly, not to come up with a portfolio, but just to on the fly test a thesis, test an idea before they then go on a Bloomberg terminal and devote 3 different quants to, really bashing through it. But just like on the surface,
100%.
We have this idea that this type of thing should outperform in a given environment. Just for the hell of it, let's like very roughly run it. And then if we want to go deeper, we can. But if there's nothing there, 100%. We move on.
And I think that's a huge part of the workflow, because now I'm seeing there's a YumZ China Holdings, Yum China in here. So like you could go and ask it to like add these, exclude Chinese companies, do this, that, and the other, and then it reruns the backtest.
By the way, funny enough, restaurant chain. Just so
yeah, there you go.
So you were right a little bit, actually.
All right, show me something else.
What else do you want to do?
What else do you have that we're allowed to see?
On the platform, or like more of this stuff?
Show me companies that benefit from Gen Z consumer habits. Can you just click that as it's going by?
This one.
All right, that's cool. So you're giving people a starting point.
Yeah.
They don't have to like sit there, stare at a blank box and wonder what they
and there'll be more discovery mechanisms.
Exactly. And like these the first starting points are obviously like fairly simple, but you can go quite detailed if you want to. Right?
Okay. So this is now going to rank the companies that it thinks are the most exposed to Gen Z spending.
Correct.
Give or take. Okay. Correct. And then you're going to click each one of these tickers and it's going to tell you how it made the list.
It actually says here because it comes up with everything, the title, even the description.
A portfolio of companies positioned to benefit from Gen Z consumer habits and preferences, including digital first brands, social media platforms, sustainable products, and experiential retail.
Exactly.
Yep. That's Gen Z in a nutshell.
Exactly. So you got obviously Spotify again here. You got Pinterest, you got Airbnb, obviously.
Okay.
You got Shopify on there. You got
Live
Netflix,
Nation makes perfect sense.
Netflix and chill, Uber.
Yep.
Starbucks.
Okay. Click on Starbucks, because Starbucks actually has the lowest relevancy score.
Beneficial consumer habits with multiple sources having
75 out of 100 relevant score.
Yeah, and so while not obvious match due to emerging challenges, Starbucks remains a definite example of a company benefiting from Gen Z spending habits. Okay, so like take some.
So that's the lowest relevance.
But you know what's not on here? Like Constellation Brands, which sells alcohol.
Right? Yeah, because they don't
not
drink
relevant to you guys. You guys are millennials, and then Gen Z. Like you guys drank less than my generation. I'm the silent generation.
I'm not sure if that's true, buddy. But
okay. All right, fine. But like just generally speaking, so that's why that's not part of this list.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm just surprised PopMart is not in here, but okay.
Okay.
If I ask it to add another 25 companies.
No, but this makes a lot of sense. Then you click into each one and explains it. Like you have SoFi, you have Sony's interesting. I'm curious as to how that got on there.
Yeah, click it. Where's Sony? Click it.
Sony specifically, prior knowledge confirms that Sony benefits. Of course, PlayStation. And I have 2 Gen Zs living in my house, and I didn't come up with that.
And by the way, good point, because the rumor is everyone will need to upgrade their PlayStation to play the new GTA 6 or whatever it is to the PlayStation 5 Pro.
Oh.
So that might actually drive a whole new cycle of spending there.
I can hear the money leaving my bank account.
I know. Yep.
All right. So Duncan Hill, for example, has a great deal of interest in investing in companies that provide meat alternatives. Okay. Yeah, Beyond Meat. Is there another? What's your portfolio?
But still private.
I mean, Nestle technically has acquired quite a few companies.
Okay.
So you could say Nestle.
Okay. But if like you were to come up with a theme that's like the things that you want to be invested in, the things that are important to you, like how personalized can this get, I guess is my point. Because he would run out of companies that are just on the vegan or vegetarian theme. But like Duncan is a man of many interests. He's like, no, truly.
Yeah,
truly.
but you can do multiple. Actually,
So
let's
somebody like Duncan
try.
say, like, these are the things I care about, I'm passionate about. Create me an index of companies that align with these different interests that I have.
Yes.
So it's not all one theme.
Correct.
It's like an agglomeration of different ideas.
Let's try it because that's what it does. So like if you put into the prompt multiple themes, so to say, it will detect it as multiple themes and run actually multiple evaluation agents for different companies in the same index, and then weights it between the two for,
all right. So he's into music.
Okay.
Race car driving. I'm guessing he's going to end up with Ferrari in here.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Vegan lifestyle.
There's like 3 companies for that.
Hold on. Chris Mann is disrupting our. Hold on.
All right. We'll run this while he waits.
Okay. What else? What should I throw in here, dude?
we just
that's
clicked next
good.
already.
Oh, we hit next. But
Yeah,
we can modify
let's
it
see
later.
what this. Yeah, I wonder if CrowdStrike will be in there because of George racing cars.
Interesting.
Oh, that's a good point.
Warner Music,
those,
Live Nation, Tencent Music Group, Ziri, iHeart Media, etc.
So we're building the Duncan generated asset.
Yeah,
Like,
I like all the music ones coming up. Look at that.
So basically, what you can see here again for the listeners is you see 3 custom criteria. So you see it's very clearly interpreting that there's like a bunch of things that it wants to achieve.
Yeah.
Did I lose it?
You lost it.
Let me rerun it.
But see,
The Duncan portfolio was just deleted.
But as
The algorithm
predicted,
determined no one's going to make money with this.
Didn't want to do that.
no,
Okay.
don't do the commas.
Yeah.
Let's say.
The comma should be fine, no?
No, I think it's interesting. It's like it actually had it as multiple criteria versus multiple searches.
Multiple list. Oh,
And
here
I
we
think
go.
it's because it did it as a.
Here's better. It's actually.
Oh yeah,
breaking
now
out
it's
there.
now it's you see
Isn't
there you
this
go.
a
Now
little
it's
bit
multiple.
like what's that game show?
Yes.
Family Feud, where
Yeah.
everybody looks up at the board to see if it's going to ding.
To see if their ideas up. Yeah.
And see if their ideas are in sync with.
He's just waiting to see the back test.
No,
And
this
then he's
is
gonna
this
think.
is cool though. So Live Nation, Spotify, Warner Music Group, Reservoir Media, iHeart Media, Madison Square Garden.
Square Garden.
Okay.
But that's just in music industry.
Show
leaders.
me Beyond Meat.
But then,
Exactly.
it's here. Vegan lifestyle companies. So then now you have multiple lists.
Here we come.
Exactly. So now it basically created weightings between different.
Yo, you see this?
requests,
cool.
right?
Oatly, all this
Gotta have
stuff.
Oatly.
And then...
No backtest.
I kidded. Is it really the comma?
I might be the comma. As predicted.
Yeah.
I told you that
Guys,
as you
this-
demo, something will happen.
Guys, this is super, this is super cool. I love the idea behind it, and I love the execution, and I'm so excited to play with it myself. So, thank you so much for showing it to us. Any parting words before you guys are whisked away to your next event?
You got to sign up.
Sign up.
Sign up
Come
and
on.
try it.
We want people to go to public.com,
Yep.
download the public app, log into your account. Generated Assets is ready right now.
On mobile and web, by the way.
Okay, and Agentic Brokerage Q1.
Q1.
Correct.
The sooner you sign up and fund your account, the sooner you'll get the tap on the shoulder.
Exactly.
There you go.
You ready
Brown
for this,
Wealth
Duncan?
Manager.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. Guys, this is so cool. Thank you so much for
Awesome.
showing it to us.
Cool.
We appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Josh.
All right,
Yes.
this has been fun with public.com. Guys, make sure to check it out.